Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Guapish. As always, I'm your host, Nico, and today I am being joined by an ex-mod of r/jailbait, Tanner.
That's right. What? Jailbait? Wait a second.
And here to give us the latest update on the pirate software drama, Jackson.
What's up, guys? Who's that?
And r/2sentence horror's biggest unironic fan, Dylan.
Dude, I love scary things. Scary things are my favorite
creature.
thing.
Yeah, fun fact, some fun r/2sentence horror lore for you here. They had to ban the word creature because it was getting used in too many of the stories.
That sounds about right.
People are lacking creativity, I guess.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how to run a joke into the fucking ground like Reddit.
And speaking of Reddit, guys, today we are going back to an old-ass topic. I think it was like 100 episodes ago or some shit like that since we last did this. But we are going to be looking at some fun Reddit posts today. Are you excited, fellas?
I can't wait to be irrationally mad.
I thought this... No. Oh, no.
I hope you show us some, like, r/explain it, Peter, and I can be like, fuck you!
Wait.
You know what that joke means, fuck you!
Dude, I feel like I'm gonna need this explained to me.
So, Dylan, it's very basic. I'm just going to be sent... I've got a Reddit post for each of us to be reading off here. And after we read it out, we are going to be just, you know, giving these folks our advice, really diving into who was the asshole in this scenario, all that kind of fun stuff. Are you excited?
Are they all from Am I the Asshole?
No, but we're going to pretend they are.
Fantastic.
This will be fun.
Yes, first up here, Dylan, I've got yours. I'm going to send on over to you now. Why don't you give us a little read in there?
Am I overreacting? Wife calling another man daddy. So for the last few years, my male 33 wife, female 29, has been very interested in an MMO game. She gets home from work on Tuesdays and boots up her PC and starts playing it for hours on end. She likes to roleplay there. She pretends to be a rabbit. It's sort of like Dungeons & Dragons or play acting apparently, and she has a Sunday gaming group that she plays with. I don't really get it, but it makes her happy, so I was always fine with it. The last couple of months though, she's been distant. We haven't lain together in weeks, usually 2 to 3 times a week, and she brushes me off if I ask what's wrong. We used to cook together, but lately I've been having to do the cooking for us both and bring it to her in her home office. She's WFH? I don't know what that means. Because she won't leave her computer. Then on Sunday night, I heard her talking with her gaming group. She was saying, "I'm a good asser, I swear, this isn't her name. Mate is so hard, but his mount is fantastic. His thing is colossal," and then she giggled. "Wolf Daddy is coming." That's when I maybe overreacted. I pulled the plug to the internet. She was more upset that I turned off the internet than that I caught her cyber-fucking another man. And she tried to gaslight me into thinking I'm crazy, so I said some unharmonious things to her, and now she won't talk to me. Was I overreacting here? The fuck does WFH mean?
Work from home.
Oh, working from home. Fuck.
No, work from home.
Same difference.
How old did it say this woman was?
29.
So... he did overreact. However, being 29 years old and calling internet strangers daddy is fucking weird.
That is
being
way
29 years
whack.
old and playing an MMORPG with your friends. That's just bizarre, frankly.
Well, hold on. Let's not go too far.
No,
here.
that's true.
I don't think.
Little do they know that, like, the vast majority of the people that play MMOs are, like, mid-30-year-olds. It's basically all the population of those games.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of MMO players are weird.
I will accept that to an extent, but anyway, let's get back to the little thing.
Yeah,
Shut up.
We can agree to disagree here, Mr. Ignorant.
I definitely, okay, I probably am gonna vouch for this the most. I think it's completely valid. I think ignoring your real-life relationships in general and prioritizing fake relationships with people you've never met before is crazy and cringe. And I think that's a good way, like, not just a romantic relationship. I think that's a good way to ruin any relationship, quite frankly. And then she wants to overreact when he feels like she crossed a line. I think that's really on her. So, yeah, no, I think this guy was completely justified in his actions, to be completely honest.
Well, you see, the thing you're missing here, Dylan, is this is obviously a shitpost that didn't happen, and the dialogue, as he told it from her, was just like weird coincidences of her referring to in-game characters and mechanics.
I mean, that could also be true.
We're going to be going under the
say.
assumption here that all of this is 100% real, though, Tanner. Let's not metagame it too much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's gonna muddy the water and ruin the fun, my dude.
What he also failed to mention is he gained 400 pounds over the course of these 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
Jackson, do you have any guesses as to what game they're playing here?
I wouldn't be shocked if it was Final Fantasy XIV, given they say choose a bunny girl, which is erased in-game, and people do erotic roleplay in that game, which is what she's doing with some other person. If it was anything other than Final Fantasy XIV, I'd be shocked, to be honest.
It is Final Fantasy XIV. The guy did confirm that in the comments.
That's fucking crazy. I knew that from reading this. That's...
There's a huge portion, not a huge portion, but there is a sizable roleplay community. Not entirely all of it is fucking sexual, of course, but there is a lot of people that roleplay in that game. It's like the MMO for roleplaying.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan, real quick here, would you like to read out the things that she was saying in the game again?
Yeah, sure. Quote, I'm a good aster, I swear. This isn't her name. Mate is so hard, but his mount is fantastic. His thing is colossal, and then she giggled. Wolf Daddy is coming.
Alright, so, Jackson, hearing that dialogue there, does that say anything? You know, does that spark any memories for you in the game at all?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if I was to try and break this down, the first one, I'm a good asser, maybe that's just saying she's a good astrologian, and he just kind of misheard it. Based on his spelling here, he probably isn't. His thing is colossal, that could literally be anything. Wolf Daddy's coming, that's probably just some weird-ass name they gave a boss. Mate is so hard, but his mount is fantastic. There are extreme trials you can do in the game that are difficult to, finish, but like you get like mounts from them, which are just like horses, birds, fantastical creatures that you can fly around on. That's the only other like misinterpretation I can see here.
Yeah, do you think it's possible here that the guy is just completely misinterpreting what she's saying and that none of this is actually erotic roleplay whatsoever?
Maybe?
Okay.
I guess to sum things up, all I said was, it sounds like they just needed to communicate and maybe he shouldn't have made assumptions.
I think that's a fair verdict.
That's a pretty fair verdict as well. Yeah, I'm definitely coming down on the side here. This all sounds like it could very well be just a misinterpretation from someone who doesn't really understand video game lingo at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely am on Dylan's side where he said earlier that, like, prioritizing video games over your real relationships definitely still isn't good on her part either, but his reaction here is definitely a bit much, I would say.
Yeah.
So I would come down on the side of he's being the asshole in this situation.
Just a little.
I agree.
Fantastic. Jackson, what about you?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And then Dylan, I also have one more edit that this guy actually made that I'd like you to read off as well for us real quick.
Oh, this will be good.
Alright, don't worry, it's a super short one.
Sick. Edit. I'm sorry to the Jewish community and I apologize and will not say that again. What the fuck? Is this an edit to this post?
Yeah.
How does that make any sense?
So, in the comments, he'd apparently, it's since been deleted, but apparently he said something to the effect of, I'm happy we got a prenup so she can't Jew me out of half my money.
Oh my god.
He seems like a class act.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Pretty fun overall, though.
Nice.
Alrighty. If we're done with that post, I've got the next one here for Jackson. We got a fun car-centered post for you. Are you ready, my man?
Yeah.
Alright, and there's the post.
Am I the asshole for purposefully dressing down to buy an expensive BMW? I was recently promoted to senior software engineer, so I figured I would treat myself to a BMW M4 competition. The idea of dressing like a hobo and buying a sports car always seemed so cool to me, as lame as it might be. I work from home and I was wearing baseball shorts, a baggy white t-shirt, and Crocs. At the door, my girlfriend realized what I was doing, and scowled. She asked me to change, but I told her they'd be happy to take my money no matter what I wore. She just rolled her eyes and didn't say anything. At the dealership, there were only 3 salesmen on the floor. 2 were busy with customers, and 1 was doing something on his computer. I wanted to ask if they had a test car with the carbon bucket seat options. I approached the boomer age guy on his computer. This sentence structure is fucking terrible, man. Come on, use some commas. I asked if he had any M model with bucket seats. He glanced up for like half a second and said, "What you see is what you get." Okay then. I found a demo car on the floor with bucket seats. I went back to the boomer and asked if I could take it for a test drive. He told me one of the other salesmen could help me out. Okay then. The other salesmen were still busy. I was frustrated but obliged. I waited by his desk for 2 minutes, and 2 minutes later he told me they don't allow test drives of M cars, which is bullshit because I had the option to book it online. I just didn't know if the test car would have bucket seats. I ended up waiting for one of the other salesmen. He was great. He let me test drive an M2 with bucket seats, and I ordered the M4 through him. At some point, the general manager came out to greet me. I shared with him that I was disappointed from the customer service I got from the boomer salesman. The manager shot him a dirty glare, and boomer had a stern but concerned look on his face. On the way home, I was elated about my purchase, but I noticed my girlfriend wasn't as excited. I asked her what was up, and she told me it was a dick move to bait boomer salesman into giving me no attention, then complaining to the manager about it. I honestly didn't intend to bait him or make him look bad. I just wanted to dress like a college student while buying an M4. Am I the asshole?
Alright, Jackson, right off the bat, let's hear your thoughts on this one.
I mean, he's dressing like it. He says he's not doing it to bait them, but like, you're specifically dressing down to get a reaction out of them and see if they treat you differently. Like, it doesn't, even if he's trying to fucking change how he perceives it, he's still doing that. Regardless, I still think the salesman should, help him out with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I think this is all kind of a fucking nothing burger in the end.
Yeah, true. But we need to treat it like it's the end of the world here as well.
I mean...
This also just seems like the guy just wants to fucking flex. Like, yeah, no, I get tell some dumb story about, I got this cool fucking BMW and some guy treated me like shit and I came out on top. I don't know, fucking...
And everyone clapped.
But nobody clapped.
If I had to pick a side here, I don't think I mean, we'd have to know more about what he said to the general manager, because he didn't really give a ton of context. I can't imagine him just saying that that guy didn't really, treat me proper or something was enough to get a reaction out of his girlfriend. Presumably he went off a bit more than he's alluding to, I would imagine.
Oh,
so I feel like we just don't have enough context here. This guy kind of seems like a class act, like the last dude.
Yeah, very much so. You always got to give a little leeway to the person who's posting these, because they're going to massage it a little bit to make themselves sound a bit better in any given scenario.
Personally, I think the boomer guy should be fired and then his family found and hung in the public square while he's forced to watch.
Based? Honestly, I get where you're coming from there.
I don't.
The salesmen are evil, Dylan. You gotta just treat each and every one of them like they're fucking livestock. Just hang them out to dry.
I do not represent the members of this podcast or anything that they say. Anyway...
That's my line.
Then don't say things that I think are sketchy. I mean, I will agree, if we've learned anything from We Need to Talk About Kevin, we understand that people telling a story often like to tell it in their favor, so that could be in regard to any story we read today, but like at the same time, I would assume that people who walk into a BMW store have like the intention or the means for said cars. Now, I'm not going to say that's everybody all the time, but like also there is still a degree of like customer service that you should have, and we also still need context, like maybe that salesman was doing something important on his computer, we don't know. And maybe that's why he didn't get to the guy right away. But also he was just showing no interest in helping him at all. And I agree with Jackson. That guy could just be, trying to bait for attention, which, is 100% something that could happen.
That's 100% what he was doing here, though. Why else would he be like, I'm gonna dress as a hobo and buy a BMW? Like, he wanted some sort of like rise out of somebody in this situation.
Yeah. But like clearly the other salesman had no problem helping him out. So like what's really the problem here? And it's obviously the attitude that the original boomer salesman had towards this guy. Because again, if the other salesman had no problem giving him a test drive in a car and also selling him the car that he wanted, I think that's still a reflection of character on the salesman. Now, could this guy have done it not in the way that he did? Sure. But I think everybody is entitled to their own decisions, and whatever the outcome is what they're going to have to deal with, I guess. And I don't think I can really, label it more than that.
The other dumb thing here, too, is that salesmen don't give a shit what the fuck you wear.
Yeah.
Like, he's not... You don't have to go to a BMW dealership in a full fucking tuxedo or some shit. They don't give a shit what you look like. He's wearing a baggy t-shirt, Crocs, and basketball shorts. Who fucking cares? They're not going to give a shit what you wear.
They just want your money. Yeah, dude, trust me. Working in a car dealership, I've seen... I'm not saying people dress poorly like this guy does, but, like, nobody's like walking in like they look like they drive a Mercedes. Like, let's not go crazy here. Like, I've definitely seen people dress casual and less than casual walking in to buy a Mercedes. So I think for us to assume this guy should be walking in like business dress to buy a BMW is a stretch of the imagination. Let's make that one thing clear.
Fantastic. So I'm hearing here is that we're all on the side of this guy's a major fucking asshole, and this woman needs to break up with him immediately.
It also should be pointed out that in the context of this story, the girlfriend is 12.
Yeah. So on top of all that, he's a pedophile.
This is a lot of labeling for literally no reason, but okay.
I mean, he's a software engineer. It just makes sense.
Does it?
Yeah.
I think you're trying to... Never mind.
All right, so what is our grand judgment of this man? I'm in team. He's the asshole here. Tanner, how about you?
Nah, I think the manager was the asshole here.
The manager?
Was that an option?
The whatever the fucking guy.
The boomer salesman?
I think this is a classic ESH, aka everyone sucks here.
I think we need to pick one side or the other.
Fuck you.
Damn. Indecisiveness
Dylan,
is the same as death. I say the boomer salesman.
Damn.
Listen, dude, it's like my biggest evidence here is that clearly the other salesman had no problem doing all the things that the boomer salesman could have done.
I'm definitely in camp. He was probably working on something else that was more time sensitive or something along those lines.
That's just context we're missing, though. And to be completely honest, the only other thing that salesmen keep themselves busy with is either wrapping up a sale or making phone calls.
Or playing some solitaire.
Yeah.
Also true.
From my brother was a car salesman. They don't do fucking anything. They just they make phone calls. They keep up with people they're in contact with through like texting on their like fucking software. But yeah, most of the time they're just sitting around playing on their phone.
Oh yeah, 100%. Service writers do that shit too. It's fucking stupid.
All right. Well, it sounds like the salesman was the asshole here then. Fair enough. All right. Up next, I got my post that I'll be reading off for you boys. So strap in. Am I the asshole for offering sex and then rejecting it because my boyfriend wanted to finish his game first? So me and my boyfriend have been together since we were 20 for 7 years now. The sex has become less frequent, and that mostly has to do with my own sex drive becoming less and less. Lately, we've been talking about this a lot because it's really starting to frustrate him. The sex was down to about once a month at some point. We talked about it, and he explained that he only wants to have sex with me if I also want to do it 100%. This just doesn't happen very often for me. So we made an agreement that if I was not at 100%, but I wasn't not in the mood, then I would try to make an effort for him. Yesterday, I was driving home from work, and I had the mindset to surprise him. So after dinner, I left the living room and got all dressed up. He rather likes lingerie, so I put on some stockings, high heels, mini skirt, and corset. Get your fucking hands out of your pants, Tanner. I see you right now, you piece of shit. I also put on some nice makeup and was excited that I was about to make him very happy. When I walked into the living room, he looked very happy and excited when he saw me, but he explained that he just started a raid with his clan members on RuneScape. I don't know what the exact name of the raid was, but he always calls this one the Difficult Spider Lady. So I understand which one it is. He said that he didn't want to ruin the raid for all of his friends, and he told me to wait for 10 to 15 minutes. I walked into the bedroom alone, and I was a little sad because I felt like he chose his game over me, especially when I put all this effort in to create a nice evening for him and cater to his needs. Long story short, I got cold and upset and crawled into bed. When he wanted to join me 20 minutes later, I really wasn't in the mood anymore and said he lost his shot that night. I feel like I ruined his night when I was just trying to make it better. Am I the asshole?
I feel like I'm gonna have a different opinion, so you guys go first.
I would say, in general, with this situation...
Fuck your woman is what you're gonna say.
Yeah. However, wait. As I was gonna say, in general, it's fine to wait a little bit. I don't think she's an asshole necessarily, but it's a bit unreasonable, especially since it seems like she's the one withholding sex most of the time anyway. That being said, RuneScape of all games is not the one to be doing this over. This guy's insane.
I was very scared it was going to be Destiny, and then it was going to be very funny. I'm glad it wasn't Destiny.
I should have just changed the name of it to Destiny.
No, because then you said when you got to the part where it's like 10 to 15 minutes, I knew you'd have been fucking lying.
This is an easy, the woman is at fault here. I don't think there's really... I mean, the guy could certainly have dropped what he was doing, but, like, it's an online commitment. Even if he wanted to, it's kind of a dick move to them, so he's gonna be fucking over somebody, regardless of who he chooses. The woman is, by her own volition, withholding sex from this guy, you know, because she has a low sex drive or whatever, but it's still her fault at the end of the day. And, like, she treats it like this is, like, a fucking blessing to the guy, and it's just, like, a very egotistical way of looking at this relationship, I feel. I think the woman's pretty wrong here. Like, I don't think her backing out of it and feeling, like, sad because she waited 20 minutes is, like, I mean, she's fully right to do that, but I think it's just her expectation of their relationship is really where she's kind of being a bitch about it.
That feels slightly harsh, but yeah, I'm pretty much on your side there. Yeah, the thing is that, like, it would be one thing if she made plans with him prior to this, to be like, hey, we're gonna do this fun sex shit, and he was gonna be like, oh boy, but, like, she didn't. This is, like, something that she just kind of dropped on him, and it's like, well, it's not his fault if he made prior commitments to this. So yeah, like Jackson said, if he just, like, oh, sorry guys, I gotta go have sex now, then yeah, he'd be an asshole for, like, completely abandoning his friends to go have sex with his wife, which, you know, that's pretty cool too, but I mean, come on. You can't just expect someone to be like, okay, I'm going to drop everything I was already doing to go and, like, you know, do this thing that you did not warn me about beforehand. So, yeah, it's unreasonable to just expect that of somebody.
Yeah, especially because I assume there's quite the, you know, variation in which he actually tries to initiate this or accepts his initiations. So, like, who knows how long it's been since the last fuck, so presumably he's just, like, you know, it just comes out of nowhere. And if anything, the expectation kind of sucks here too from this perspective, where, like, he's got to wait who knows how long, and she can't even wait 20 minutes for him.
Yeah.
So there's just a big imbalance there.
Okay, so Dylan, your hard team woman is what I'm gathering so far.
Yeah, I don't really want to go into my explanation, but yeah.
Why not?
I just don't feel like having a 3v1, and also I don't want to get into it.
I mean, this is a conversation about some random Redditor. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I mean, TLDR is I disagree with everything you guys say, but, you know, we can leave it at that.
But why?
Reasons.
Damn. Well, fair enough, I suppose.
I really don't feel like
what
having
is it that you even, like, what is your stance?
I think that he's the asshole.
Okay, that's what I said.
I thought you said I thought your decision at the end there was that the woman was the asshole.
No, I specifically said she wasn't.
Oh, well.
So it sounds like you're not in a 3v1 then, Dylan, so do you want to elaborate on your stance here?
I mean, I guess I could sum it up to personal experience and leave it at that.
Okay.
The issue here, too, is that, like, at a hormonal level, men and women are just different, obviously, and, the fact that the woman doesn't have a sex drive anymore isn't necessarily at a fault of her own, and, like, at least they, like, talked about it. Like, they knew this stuff was all out on the table, and I understand, like, oh, well, it was dropped on him last minute, and he would be an asshole to leave them. But I have literally, like, and even to bring it back to personal experience, like, I've even been playing Destiny raids, which take probably 10 times longer than what amount of time he asked for. And I had people in my group be like, oh, the wife's calling, I'll be back. And we, like, none of us cared. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And I think, like, yeah, like, I get it. Like, the issue is men want sex way more often than women. That's just biologically, like, how it is. But I think... I think the fact that she even tried at all, even in some scenarios when she's not feeling it. Like that's the bigger thing here. And it's just like, and this goes back to the whole like, don't prioritize, you know, like, I'm not saying he's not friends with these people in real life, but don't prioritize fake digital, you know, relationships or commitments over ones you have in real life. That's just a good way to fuck up your actual real life commitments, and especially with somebody, again, somebody you're romantically in a relationship with. I think it, like, you know, not to call this guy out, but like, how long could it really take? I'm sure his friends could wait also 10-15 minutes or so for this guy. I'm sure
sex could go for a while, man. What do you mean?
Listen, I said I'm not calling the guy out. All I'm saying is that it's not like that raid has... It's a two-way thing. The sex didn't have to happen then and there, which is clearly what happened. But also, the raid didn't need to happen then and there. And all that this guy is transmitting to this woman right now is, sorry, I think my video games and my friends are more important than our relationship and the effort you're trying to put forth on something that we know that doesn't happen very often. And so, if anything, this just, you know, puts the relationship into a downward spiral where, yes, now, like, she's discouraged from initiating sex, and that he knows he doesn't get it as often, so now they're just making negative assumptions, and then it just spirals out of control until eventually the relationship just, you know, ends because of miscommunication and misconception. I got off on a really bad tangent. Long story short is I think he's the asshole, basically. He could have definitely just made a quick priority of, you know, his girlfriend, or I'm pretty sure it was girlfriend, I don't think it was wife, but, you know.
Personally, I still just think it's hypocritical, you know. She can't make it work for him, he can't make it work for her in that one moment, and because he didn't make it work in that one moment, he's the bad guy. I don't agree with that premise. That's just my stance.
Women are wired different, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I don't disagree. If she has a low sex drive, there's nothing you can do about that, but also, like, there's certainly still expectation of stuff. Like, one of the biggest collapses or biggest reasons for collapse in relationships is because of sex-related reasons, outside of, like, you know, financial shit. Yeah, you gotta make shit work, man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely with Jackson here, especially since, like, you know, you can't just assume that, like, oh, well, you know, these guys can, like, wait a bit longer, right? Because, like, the fact that, like, he's getting a group of people together, they had to organize this sort of thing, like, when they're all free, so maybe they weren't all going to be free in, like, an hour whenever he was finally finished up getting down and dirty here, you know? So, yeah, it's just a dick move to abandon all of them in that moment. And be like, well, sorry guys, I guess your night's ruined. Tough luck for you.
I think this just applies to really anything, too. You can't expect somebody to just always be down with your spontaneous things. Like, people have shit going on in their lives, regardless of if it's this scenario at all. It could be anything. You can't just expect people to go along with your spontaneous plannings and things because it's spontaneous. You know, I think it's rude to assume that people will be available for that. I think it's self-centered.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, well, it sounds like, Tanner, were we able to sway you at all with our thoughts here? Is it because it's RuneScape? Is that really the biggest thing holding you back?
Yeah, I do think that RuneScape is that stupid.
Alright, so if they were in, like, a ranked match of League or some shit like that, would you be like, I'm sorry, you can't let your elo drop?
I guess it kind of, like, the thing is, I'm being a real centrist here. It does kind of at the very least speak to his personal priorities, and however much you want to justify that, like, he has signaled that to some extent he does value that game more than her. You know?
You don't even have to say it's like the game specifically. What about like his friends? He's like, hey, I want to make sure that, you know, my friends also are able to do this thing that we had planned to do, that we had carved out time specifically so that we could do tonight.
Right.
And like, hey, 10 to 15 minutes, it's not like a crazy amount of time or unreasonable to say, hey, can you just like wait a little bit?
You know what? You're right. He should kill her in her sleep. Like, obviously, like, I think they're both unreasonable in this scenario.
I disagree. The guy's not being unreasonable.
These are all opinions, dude.
Waiting like 10 to 15 minutes is not an unreasonable request.
I don't agree.
I think you're
at
probably
all.
Right. I don't know.
I feel
I'm trying to think it through. I don't know.
I feel like 15, 20 minutes to go along with someone's spontaneous plan is an incredibly reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And also, like, it also heavily depends on how hot this girl is.
I mean, it's his girlfriend. He loves her, presumably, so...
Yeah. Also, like, presumably, since she's wearing a corset, she's at least a 7.
Anyway, are we done?
It sounded like we got
so much more divisive than I thought it'd be.
Yeah. To be honest, I was expecting Tanner to be the only holdout on this one, but, you know...
Dude, my base position is they should have sex.
Yeah, I know.
Is that fair enough?
They could have if the wife didn't fucking get sad and quit.
Yeah.
True.
I think... Never mind. Let's just move on.
There we go. Looks like a 3-1 on that one. Alrighty. Got one final fun little post here for you guys. This one surely will not be contentious at all, I don't believe. This is for Tanner. Go ahead and check this one out.
Would I be the asshole for divorcing my wife because she couldn't handle me crying in front of her? I, 28 male, and my wife, 29 female, were recently visiting Cambodia. I booked the trip for our 4th wedding anniversary. On our last day there, we decided to visit a genocide prison in oh Jesus, it's friggin' Cambodian. Phnom Penh, called S21. We were warned by our tour guide that the place wasn't for the faint of heart. The prison was used by the Khmer Rouge to massacre thousands of innocent civilians who were deemed as too smart/intellectual during the rule of Pol Pot. I'm very suspicious of where this is going by him specifically mentioning the too smart/intellectual.
Yeah.
I remember seeing torture chambers where they would beat people to death with chains. They didn't hide any of the brutality. The pictures on the walls literally looked like something straight out of Live Leak. What a fucking Redditor, dude. In one of the prison cells there was literally dried up blood on the floor from presumably the captive held there all those years ago. I remember walking past a tree dubbed the Killing Tree. They took kids as young as 3 years old and would bash their heads into it until they died. Upon reading that, I literally started sobbing. I was visualizing everything in my head and I just felt for the kids who had to watch their siblings/friends get massacred in front of them. My wife saw me crying and instead of comforting me, just gave me this weird look. After a while, she did come hug me and ask if something was wrong. I just pointed to the exit and we left after that. I just couldn't take it anymore. While in our taxi, she asked me if I was seriously crying. I just nodded and kept quiet. I was still pretty shaken up by the things I had just read/saw. That was last week, and there has been this weird tension between us ever since. She tries to pick fights with me for no reason and just seems dismissive/disrespectful for no reason. A few days ago, I came home exhausted from work and she asked me if I could do the laundry that day. I told her that I'd do it tomorrow and just wanted to relax for a bit. She then got mad and told me she didn't know she was marrying a woman and then stormed off. She has never acted like this before our trip. I lost it yesterday night after she tried to pick another fight with me and confronted her about her behavior over the past week. I asked her if all of this had to do with me crying. She tried denying it at first, but after a while she just went silent for a few moments and then started nodding while keeping her head down. I asked her why and she just claimed that humanity has done worse in the past. And she just feels weird about me crying over kids who have nothing to do with me. She also told me that she isn't a therapist and she felt uncomfortable and was disappointed in me for shedding tears over something that happens all the time. Jesus, maybe she's the real Redditor. She saw me getting mad at her comments and tried backpedaling and apologizing, but I just couldn't take it anymore and just went to bed in our guest room. This was literally the second time she has ever seen me cry. First was when my best friend lost his life to a drunk driver. To the men out there, have you experienced anything similar with your significant other? I'm seriously considering divorce, but my brother claims I should have known better and shouldn't have let her see me like that. If I divorce her without trying couples counseling, I'm most definitely an asshole. Could I have done something better to make her feel less uncomfortable? How would you guys move forward in this situation? Very funny. The thing that immediately stands out to me is he never mentions that he bought, when it's happening, he never explains at all what's happening. What I don't understand why you couldn't have just been oh, I'm just imagining all of those horrible things, you know? Like, it seems like he just says, yeah, I just kind of kept crying and not answering her questions, which is a bit strange.
No, I feel like him crying is pretty self-explanatory, but...
She also says something
apparently
like...
she's a fucking sociopath, so...
She says something like, it feels weird about him crying over kids who have nothing to do with him, so presumably he explained why he was crying.
Yeah.
Well, to me, I interpreted that as her saying that after he said that in that conversation where he finally confronted her.
Either way, I don't think it's all that important when exactly that was divulged.
Yeah, I definitely think the bigger issue is here that when he was feeling vulnerable, regardless... I think her calling him, like, a woman or whatever was a little far for, like, no reason. I think if you can't allow your significant other to be vulnerable in front of you without passing judgment, I think that speaks to something foundational in the relationship. And for her to base her statements off of, well, this shit happens all the time, and this doesn't involve you, so why does it matter? I think to brush off somebody's emotions like that, to just sum it up to this shit happens all the time, who cares, is just kind of a reflection on their mental psyche. I think she's the one who has problems, to be completely honest, and to, like, kind of conjecture with what he was finishing up in that post with. I think it definitely would be an asshole move to, like, not go to couples counseling. It sounds like she just needs to be more emotionally receptive. Like, I get, like, the man needs to be the leader or whatever and, you know, be the strong force in the house, but also, I think if you're just not allowed to have emotions or, you know, feel sorrow or whatever the fuck, then I think that's a issue on her part.
Dylan is 100% correct in everything he just said. Tanner, why do you believe that is a soy take?
Really what I was just gonna say is, like, I don't know, it's just an incredibly strange argument. She is definitely an asshole here. It just, like, obviously, if I'm trying to read in what he's leaving out here, it just seems to me like he might be incredibly inarticulate when he's, like, talking to her, because it seems to me like he really just needs to say, hey, I had a very vivid imagination of seeing these horrible things. Like, I know that horrible things happen all the time, it's just like I put myself in a headspace where I was, like, really seeing this, you know?
But that shouldn't even be necessary for the conversation is the thing, though. Like,
what do you mean?
It should not be outlandish for him to cry in that situation and for her to think, wow, this is so weird that you would cry from a genocide.
I think the only reason you would cry in that situation is if you are getting in that really imaginative headspace.
I think for her to treat him differently because of it, I think, is the problem. I don't think necessarily it's whether or not it is because, like, she didn't need an explanation. She started treating him differently after he was crying in the fucking genocide prison, need I remind you? Genocide prison. And just for her to start treating him differently without ever talking to him about it, that's strange.
The thing is, like, he makes it sound like she was trying to talk to him while they were there and he wasn't really giving her any answers. And I do think that, like, if you cry for no good reason, like, that is a totally valid thing to judge you over.
Yeah.
So, like, you should have an explanation.
Yeah, genocide, that's no good reason. Seeing a tree where children's heads were bashed against it.
Dude, it has nothing to do with any of that. I mean,
that's
let me ask you,
that's what he was crying over. What do you mean?
Okay, why aren't you crying right now then, huh?
Because I'm not there.
About it too. Exactly, and what do you mean?
She was also there. She should understand.
But she wasn't the one putting herself in a headspace where she was imagining it as it's happening, okay?
Regardless of that, she shouldn't treat her husband as a lesser person because he had emotions in a genocide camp.
That you guys are getting hung up on the wrong thing here.
I think you are.
Purely getting hung up on, man, men just shouldn't cry now, should they? They can't be vulnerable.
Men should not cry without a good reason, yes.
What do you mean without a good... He
had a great reason.
Yeah, I know, and what I'm fucking saying is he should explain that reason to her.
And it sounds like she knows what that reason is. She just doesn't care.
he in this post, he has not actually articulated what was going on with him, so I can't be certain he actually explained that in a way that made any sense to her.
This sounds like some real creative reading on your part.
How do you figure?
There's just nothing to lead you to believe that.
I mean, he never says he tells her.
Does he need to mention every single part of their conversation?
I mean, if we're gonna render judgment on it, yeah, that's kind of useful.
And based on the information we have available here, it seems pretty cut and dry.
I disagree.
Yeah, I think the base assumption here is that there certainly are women you can't cry in front of, but they are a rare breed. It's kind of built into the woman's mind. I have a point with this, by the way. It's kind of built into like a woman's brain to not like men that show vulnerability because it means they're weak, and that's just like some evolutional thing that's like, I shouldn't be with a weak partner, I need to find someone that's stronger. So generally I would say it's not a good idea to cry in front of your partner, but sometimes you can't fucking help it, and I definitely think it's good to get a partner that you can be vulnerable in front of that won't judge you. Unfortunately, that's a very rare case for dudes. What I'm attempting to get at here is that I think the woman's a fucking bitch for it, even if it's not entirely her own like making. It's just that she's a fucking woman. It's just built into their fucking brains to do that. I think it's a very realistic reason for him to cry in that assumption. I don't know what the fuck Tanner's talking about. I think it's very obvious why he would be crying in that scenario.
Dude, I've said why he was crying.
I know exactly, but your point is that she wouldn't understand why, and that he should have communicated that better, when I feel like why he was crying is incredibly obvious, and that she should have just gotten it from the context, and there shouldn't have been a conversation that was needed about it.
I think the disconnect we're having is like, you are thinking like, oh, just being in the place where something horrible happened would just make you cry, which isn't true. It's to me, it's more about the mentality.
Yeah,
like, it's the headspace he put himself into.
I agree with you on that, and I feel
location is kind of inconsequential.
I agree completely with you on that. I feel like the woman should understand that from the context of them being there, without needing to be verbally told as to why it's happening.
Well, maybe she's retarded, you know.
And that even adds more to her being the asshole here. I think divorce is maybe drastic. I definitely think they should go to counseling and try to talk it over first. But sometimes it is just like minor stuff that can kill a marriage like that, though. Like, he can't trust her anymore, presumably. He tried showing vulnerability once and was shut down by it, and that's really hard to recover from. And then also, like, with the woman, even if she doesn't give a shit that she hurt him that way, she still just has, like, this guy's a fucking pussy in the back of her mind, and she can't even, like, I don't know, therapy could probably get that out of her, but it's it's a long shot. It's kind of just a shitty situation. She shouldn't have reacted that way. She reacted very harshly and weirdly to him.
I mean, I will point out, he does mention at the end that there was another time she's seen him cry, and that's when his best friend was killed by a drunk driver, and he doesn't mention that she had this same reaction then, so I do think it's just a matter of, like, he's not explaining himself well.
I think it's maybe because she just couldn't understand why that would make him cry.
Sure, that too.
Yeah, she says it's like they're kids who you have nothing and who you have no connection to, so why would that make you cry?
Yeah, that's just a really stupid argument.
I think that's psychopathic behavior to be in a genocide camp. Be like, I don't know why you'd be crying right now. And that is where we diverge in thought
Tanner
processes
was the
here,
woman.
Tanner. Guys, I know who the asshole here is.
It's Tanner, locking in.
It's Tanner, locking it in.
I mean, I don't know.
We do.
The thing is, like she is correct in saying, like, you cannot just treat any specific instance of cruelty as, like, especially horrible, because like why would you be discriminating like that?
I
like,
mean,
you cannot take every tragedy equally seriously, because you'd be crying 24/7, and that's just not feasibly possible. So it is a bit of it's a very human thing, but it's very irrational to get upset over any given tragedy, because you're not going to expend the same mental energy on all tragedies. And so, like, it's like, what are you saying about that then, you know?
Well,
to be clear, I do think she's the asshole. I just think this guy's
a bit of a
doing the
pussy,
best
is what
job
you're
of
saying.
averting that from happening. No, you're putting words in my mouth and not even listening to me.
I think if we're gonna take that argument where, like, you can't cry at every tragic thing that happens, I think we would just need a bigger sample size. Obviously, he's only listed 2 examples here, one being his friend dying in a drunk driver accident, this being the second one. I think the real test is he goes to Auschwitz or something, and then they tour Auschwitz and see if he cries there. If so, he's just a guy that cries in the face of tragedy, and I think that's completely valid.
Yeah, we just need to hit this guy with more tragedies to see what makes him crack. Alright, so I am in camp. She's the asshole.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Got a nice little 4-0 on that one. Happy to hear it. Personally, my general dating philosophy is I try to find a reason to cry within, like, the first 2 months of dating someone.
Interesting.
It's just like a temperature check.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a massive red flag.
What do you mean that's a red flag? How's that a red flag?
Intentionally going out of your way to cry.
I mean, yeah, it's for the reason we just discussed,
shit's fucking real, dude.
Okay.
Shit's fucking weird, dude.
Whatever, man.
I gotta know if they'd be a ride or die for me. I'm sorry.
Didn't you cry during, like, Iron Claw or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you understand.
I'm sorry, Tanner, but are you gonna cry for every family who has siblings that die?
Yeah, probably.
There we go.
Fair enough.
He understands now.
Yeah, he finally gets it. Alrighty, well, fellows, that was all of our Reddit posts to check out here today. How was it?
Way more contentious, and that took more emotional bandwidth than I was willing to spare.
This was, yeah, there was much more arguments going on here than the last time we did this.
Reddit has become a darker place.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if you were being serious when you're saying the last one was going to be contentious or not. Hoo boy.
You know, on paper it wasn't, but when you really get into the minutia, that's when the real opinions come out.
We were really getting into it, and I was like, man, there's no way we could, disagree on this. And then I hear Tanner starting, and I was like, well, fuck.
It was really crazy that Tanner just didn't think that genocide was that big of a deal.
Agreed.
Dude, it happened fucking 500 years ago.
I don't think that matters.
Where does it rank in terms of genocides? Do you know, Tanner?
How's the Khmer Rouge? The Khmer Rouge was pretty bad. I want to say it was like 13 million people killed.
Oh my god.
I guess that puts it... Wait. No, the Holocaust is 11 million. Yeah, so it's a little above the Holocaust, but they were all Asian, so...
I'm starting to see the underlying problem here.
Fun fact.
Oh,
Cambodia is the child sex trafficking capital of the world.
Oh.
That somehow doesn't surprise me.
Well, fellas, speaking of sex trafficking...
Oh, no.
I can't wait to...
Yeah?
Finish the thought.
Guapish the movies!
Guapish at the movies!
Wait, what am I doing? You know something, Freddy? You don't scare me anymore. Ow!
Jackson, what did we watch this week, feller?
This week, the Patreon pick, as requested by Tup on a Patreon, thank you, was the 2007 film There Will Be Blood. And if you also want to get your movie picked, and in our queue, I'm really fumbling this statement here right now. I don't know why. Excuse me. If you want us to watch a movie you pick, give us $1 on Patreon.com/Guapish. Anyways, this is the movie about some fucking dude that gets some oil, and he sells the oil.
There we go.
Fun fact. This movie was filmed at the same time in almost the same location as No Country for Old Men. And when they were doing a test for the oil rig fire, all of the smoke going in the air screwed up one of the shots for No Country for Old Men, and they had to shoot the next day instead.
Oh damn,
That's pretty fun.
That's pretty cool.
Good fun fact.
yeah.
You know what? After each fun fact from now on, I'm going to be giving a rating of good or bad fun fact.
There we go.
Fair enough.
Sure.
Dylan, where are you rating this one?
Oh boy, this is gonna be contentious to follow up the Reddit posts. I gave There Will Be Blood a C+.
Tanner, how about you?
I'm at a B+.
I'm
Okay.
sitting in A- right now. How about you, Jackson?
I'm currently at a solid A.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Dylan, why don't you like this movie very much?
This movie's boring, man. It was so boring. It took so much mental bandwidth to watch it. It's the plot made sense. It was fine. I had a hard time not following along in the sense of, like, I didn't understand what was happening. It was just, like, it wasn't doing enough to keep me engaged, and yeah, there was character development of the main guy, but, like, I also just didn't care. The movie didn't really give me a reason to care, and it was just, like, the way in which things happened, there just wasn't enough. I think if they cut out some parts in this and just, you know, shortened it a little bit, I think I'd probably be more into it, but it's not only like a genre I don't necessarily care about, but also just it was done so slowly. I couldn't, it just didn't hold my interest. I don't know what to say.
Dude, so my thing with this movie is, this is one of those movies where I recognize all of the, like, technical aspects are done really well and whatever, but I just didn't really enjoy it. I wasn't necessarily bored per se, but, like, I wasn't very engaged, and my biggest problem with this movie is it feels masturbatory. It just really seems to me like the director and the actors are being like, look how fucking good we are at making movies, you retards. And my big example I'll give of this is the fucking milkshake line. That is an objectively stupid piece of dialogue, and to me it came across like the scriptwriter going, look at this, Daniel Day-Lewis is such a good actor that we can make him say some retarded shit and you'll still love it, you stupid cow. And so I didn't really like what I perceived to be sort of the background vibe of this movie. Also, like, I kind of agree with Dylan with how I don't think this movie has very good plot momentum, primarily because we are jumping throughout time, and so it kind of skips and jumps in that way, so we don't get a real flow within a fully connected story or whatever. That being said, I still gave it a pretty good ranking because, again, all the technical stuff is really good. The acting is superb. The sets, the costumes, the friggin' cinematography, all that stuff was really good. And I wish there was more of this in the movie. I do like what was kind of the core conflict of, like, this business con man type versus this religious con man type, and their sort of battle against each other. I thought that was a very engaging conflict, although it wasn't in the movie very much.
Mm-hmm. I will say, so obviously, performances in this film, fucking fantastic, absolutely stellar. They killed it. Particularly for that milkshake line that you're referring to. I didn't think that was, like, out of place at all within the film, and that it very much so made sense for Daniel's character within that moment, because, like, the whole thing that's going on there is he's just fucking dunking on this preacher now, because, like, I fucking won, you hack. I've dominated you, and I'm going to just drill into your stupid, feeble little mind how dumb you are right now, and I'm going to break this down to the simplest little way I possibly can so you can understand that you're a fucking fool for bringing this proposal to me. Which I just thought was fun. That entire monologue he had there was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with Tanner on everything except for most of it. I think this movie was fantastic. Unsurprisingly, I gave it an A. Like you guys all said, the technical aspects of this movie are really well done. It's an incredibly well shot film. Cinematography is amazing. All the actors do a very, very good job. Obviously, the standout being Daniel Day-Lewis. He was fantastic. He plays a really dynamic character. The sets, costume, everything, it felt very true to life. It felt like we're in that moment. I thought the plot was incredibly engaging. I really liked the character study of the fucking oil prospector guy, whatever the fuck his name is, can't remember, doesn't matter. But
it's the same as his actor.
That's crazy. Yeah, I just really like my slow-paced character study movies, and this is that. I was engrossed the entire time. I wasn't bored at all. I thought this movie was fantastic.
Yeah, really the biggest negative I have for this one is that I can see how it could be a little slow, but really my biggest thing is that it feels like Daniel pulling back the mask when that finally happened. It feels too abrupt for me. I would have liked a little bit more build up to that moment when he just fucking slams the preacher into the ground, starts beating down on him. I would have liked maybe just like a couple more interactions between the two of them before he gets to that point.
The other thing is, it's a bit weird to me that the scene right before that, like the whole purpose of it is to kind of establish that Daniel isn't happy and his life is kind of shitty now, actually.
Yeah. Like, basically at the end of the day for me, I would have and maybe I'm misinterpreting, I don't know, but again, I being the lowest on this movie, it's just, what I got out of this movie is this guy is kind of just a psychopath. It just showed him progressively going more and more insane, hating life, more and more things go on, shunning his relationships and ruining the relationships around him because all that ever really mattered to him was money, prosperity, and success. And it was kind of just a long drawn out way of watching this guy get away with different murders and becoming a psychopath. And I just didn't really enjoy that all that much, I guess.
That's fair enough. Dylan, would you like to, at the very least, get some women liquored up and taken to the peach tree dance, though?
Probably not.
Damn. Sounds like a hell of a time.
That's how you get murdered. That's how you get murdered by a guy who you say is your brother, but actually isn't your brother, and you're best friends with his brother, and you read his journal to become his brother, and then died because you were pretending to be his brother. Dude, fun fact, that guy who died, the guy who pretended to be his brother, that was the one dude from The Mummy.
The one
Benny,
dude?
I think his name was? Benny from The Mummy.
Oh.
Who ended up dying at the very end of the movie. He was like the mummy's like sidekick slave guy. Yeah, that guy. They're the same guy. Anyway.
That's crazy.
Dude, that's great that you mentioned that, because I knew I recognized him from somewhere but couldn't place it.
Dude, you've got your fun facts, I've got my actor facts, and I am a shoo-in for recognizing people in other movies. What can I say?
Well, guys, do you have any further thoughts on There Will Be Blood?
There was blood. There was also oil.
Honestly, I was about to say there could have been more blood.
I think it was a symbolic thing, you know?
Yeah, the film definitely didn't go in the direction I was initially expecting it to. I was thinking it's going to be...
Yeah,
I definitely thought it was going to be much more like, we're doing this whole thing with the oil, but all these fucking town people keep getting in the way. I gotta knock off a few of them so I can get the land and get my oil. But no, it didn't really go down.
I kind of also thought that. I thought it was going to be more along the lines of he got baited into coming to this land to drill it for oil. He starts drilling for oil, and now that he's established it, he doesn't want to leave, but also this, like, church is trying to get him to join, and they're kind of acting culty, so they were, like, gonna try to, start taking out his people. There was gonna be, like, a turf war, and it was just gonna be a whole occult thing. But I couldn't see this, I didn't really see this movie being a horror movie, so I was really unsure what direction that was going to go. I literally thought it was just going to be Daniel versus the cult, and that would have been interesting.
Yeah, oil tycoon versus a southern cult.
Oh, yeah, it would have been great.
I like the intro of the movie a lot. I think it's very cool. I also like that the intro really demonstrates show not tell very well, and the rest of the movie does that a lot too. It's not super upfront about things that are going on and leaves it up to the audience to pick that up. Big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, up until, it goes to the second scene, I was like, oh, is like the shtick of this movie that there's going to be no dialogue?
Yeah, it was like a solid, I think, 15 minutes or so without really any dialogue at all.
I timed it.
Yeah.
It was 11 minutes before anybody said any voice lines in this movie.
Oh, damn.
Hell
I was going to bring that up as a fun fact. Thank you for reminding me.
Which is pretty cool. I like that. I can kind of see where Tanner's going, though, with this film feels a bit masturbatory.
I'll take your guys' word for it. I don't understand movies to that depth.
It sounds like his fucking A24 criticism.
Yeah.
Yes, that is actually exactly the parallel I drew in my mind.
Is this an A24 film?
No.
This is an A24. Okay, thank goodness.
But you know what? If the film's good, it can be a little masturbatory, alright?
I suppose so.
Yeah, it's just a very well-made movie with really good themes, really good character writing. I do think the biggest downside to most people would be its length and its slowness. Given it is a character-focused piece, we spent a lot of time just with our main character, and there's some slow scenes, but you gotta be into it.
True, and it didn't work on me. Big surprise.
Oh yeah.
Well, boys, I'm sticking in my A-.
I'm sticking at my A.
I guess I'll stick with my C+. Tanner, how many shots did you take?
I'm sticking with my B+. We actually didn't say it once, so
I was
guess
trying
I'm
to
good.
intentionally avoid it. I thought I wasn't
What?
sure how serious. I was trying to avoid saying slow burn. I wasn't sure how serious you were about that.
Take a shot, everyone. Take a shot, everyone.
There we go. Mazel tov. Wait,
Mazel.
is that shalom?
Yeah.
What's
I
the
don't know.
fucking Jew thing you say when you drink?
Yeah, Mazel Tov is like, hooray, attaboy.
Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah.
guys, you'll never believe this. It's another one to the B+
Hot
pile.
damn.
Damn. Sorry, boys.
Unsurprising.
I think this is. To be completely honest, this is the first
This
time.
is probably the one that's least deserving of the B+ pile, and I say that as someone who rated it a
Yeah.
B+.
Yeah, this is a very highly critically acclaimed
People
movie.
fucking
Are ranked
love
pretty far
this
below the
film.
medium.
I mean, to
Joe
be-
Rogan shouts out the milkshake scene frequently.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself this like becoming like a fucking No Country for Old Men type thing for me, like what that movie is for Tanner. I just need to like, I didn't literally read or watch anything, like no explanations. All of my opinion about this movie is just off the dome. I'm sure if I go and watch a bunch of shit like 10 things you missed in There Will Be Blood or whatever and give it another watch, I could see myself liking this movie even more.
Oh yeah, Tarantino is like a 20-minute breakdown on this film and shit. Like, he loves it. Seeing a bunch of other big reviewers be like, this is the fucking shit right here. This kicks ass.
All I'm saying, Dylan, is I already thought this movie was fantastic. I gave it a fucking A. And if I can get more context as to maybe other things about this movie, then I could watch it with a new sense of appreciation and like it even more. Ain't nothing wrong with that, baby.
alas, I've got movie smooth brain, and we all know what kind of movies I'm into.
Oh yeah.
Maybe the next movie we watch this week, that being the 2004 film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, as requested by Nico. Please tell us about it.
Alright, so Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind is all about Jim Carrey finding out that his ex deleted him from her mind, and now he's undergoing the same treatment, but hang on, as he's going through it, he doesn't really want to do it anymore, and so hilarity ensues.
I didn't think it was very funny
I
at
didn't
all.
think it was very
Fun
funny
fact.
either.
There was plenty
There's
of funny
some funny moments, but for
Yeah.
a rom-com, it wasn't a whole lot of calm.
Is this billed as a rom-com?
This is like a fucking drama romance.
I think it's a sci-fi at that as well.
Fun fact, all of the effects in this movie are almost entirely done practically. I think there's only like 2 things in here that are CGI.
Yeah, I saw that too. Like, the director wanted to do basically everything they possibly could practically. And so that includes, like, the scenes where, like, the backgrounds are blurry when he's in when he's in his mind. And sort of just like, oh, we'll, like, artificially make that blurry. They, like, got fucking, like, plastic wrap over the backgrounds.
Oh, very fun.
It's pretty nuts. Personally, I like this movie a lot. I'm giving it an A+.
Whoa.
I like this movie a pretty decent bit as well. I gave it an A-.
I am in between an A and an A-.
What's that?
So an A.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm at an A- currently.
There we go. Sounds like we all like this film quite a bit.
I think I would have liked the
yeah.
movie more if the ending wasn't spoiled for me.
Honestly, the fact that Tanner spoiled that part of the film, let's break it down here real quick. So, the film opens with Jim Carrey, like, you know, going out doing his thing, and he meets the girl of his dreams, the main woman. I don't remember her fucking name. Oh, it's like Clementine, I think. That's it, right?
Clementine.
Yeah.
He meets Clementine, and they're just having a gay old time. And then it cuts forward to them no longer being together, and she deletes them, all that shit. All the events of the film happen. But then, holy smokes, it's revealed to us that the beginning of the film where they first meet is actually them meeting for a second time after they've both undergone the procedure. Holy fuck! I completely forgot about that while I was watching the film, so Tanner spoiling that for us did not hamper my enjoyment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely real. I'm just trying to be fucking contentious. Not contentious,
I
whatever.
didn't even realize it could be interpreted as a spoiler, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, I had the same experience as Nico, where I read the message, forgot about it, and then, when I saw the movie, I was like, oh. I mean, I guess I was more so along the lines of I probably would have felt better about discovering it about the movie myself. I did, at the very end, I was like, oh my gosh, this movie is so clever. I love how they decided to end this movie, because I don't, it's weird, because I don't know if another movie did what this movie does, and if they did, they didn't do it as well, in my opinion. And I think a really interesting concept that they explore is you can delete somebody from your mind, whether metaphorically or literally in this movie's sense. But as a famous line from the all-time classic Jurassic Park, nature finds a way. Ultimately, and because we see it happen to two couples in this, where they get their relationship deleted, and they just somehow down along the lines you just end up hooking up again, and it just goes to show it's not. You can't just forget somebody and expect nothing to happen. There's a reason that you guys got brought together in the first place, and there was some kind of, chemical something that, or some kind of emotional click that brought you guys together, and that's just something you can't delete from the human mind. And I thought that the way that this movie explored memory and emotions and all that kinds of stuff, and the facets of the mind was and it's really cool because they didn't really stretch the truth of anything, and I'm not gonna say it's grounded in reality, because clearly, deleting people from people's minds isn't reality, but outside of that, I think everything was pretty spot on, and I really enjoyed this movie. It was a very fun watch.
Yeah, the first thing you said, where you called it clever, that's the exact word that I used as well. I really appreciate how clever and well written this movie is. I like how mature it is. It doesn't have sort of the fairy tale ending where we're just gonna be in love again. They take the sort of mature stance where it's relationships take effort, and sometimes there are ups and downs, and that's stuff you have to work through and whatever, Yeah,
it's we don't know if we're soulmates and if this is all gonna work out for us in the end, but we may as well try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I think it does a really good job of exploring the concept of being able to erase memories. They have a couple of different interpretations of why people are doing that and what the result of it is and all that. And one example of the cleverness of this film I wanted to shout out is the fact that they named her Clementine. And then, they 2 times do the joke where they mention the oh my darling, darling Clementine. But what they don't do, and they let the audience fill in for themselves, is that the second line of that song is "You were gone and lost forever, now I found you, Clementine," which plays into the whole thing of the movie so well. They let you, the audience, go hey, that's the thing,
Another fun thing about that song that we see is at the beginning of the film, we see, she sings that whole song, and he's like, yeah, I've never heard it before, sorry. But then later we see in his memories, his mom would sing that song to him, and it's just because that was all happening after the operation, that means that song has now retroactively been removed from his brain because he ties it too closely to her.
Oh yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Holy shit.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think it's a fun movie. I agree. I think it's clever, and I do like the ending. I like how mature and down to earth it is. I definitely like the performances too. I think that's fun. I don't really have a crazy amount to say about it. It's just a really novel concept. I think it's executed well. They've got some fun shots. I think my biggest downside are some of the comedy scenes are kind of whatever to me. But for the most part, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was pretty solid.
Nice. I was gonna say, so my only real negative, and I can kind of understand this because this isn't necessarily that type of movie, but I wish Elijah Wood got some kind of comeuppance for the horribly fucked up thing he did in this movie.
It's awful.
I mean,
yeah, I get that this is a movie trying to play it very straightforward and realistic when we're in the real world, but I don't know, have her slap him across the face or something,
I guess.
At the end of the day, he just didn't get the girl, and isn't that punishment enough?
Yeah, this quirked up white girl.
An addendum to what I was saying earlier too about, even if you delete somebody from your mind, there was something there that obviously brought you guys together, so it's like inevitable that it'll happen again. I think, and I may be reading too much into this in the movie, what's important about being in relationships at the end of the day is if that relationship ends, you're supposed to be able to take your lessons you learned from that and apply it to your relationships moving forward. And okay, now that I'm saying this out loud, this has nothing to do with the movie. I'm gonna finish my thought though. So ultimately, this doctor's office existing and deleting people's emotions essentially. I think there was at one point there was a lady in the office with a box of her dog things. I think in general, this is kind of a fucked practice where it's just we'll just make it so people don't have to experience emotions. I think at the end of the day, that's not a good thing. I think people need to experience sorrow and despair and sadness because they are they are teachers at the end of the day.
We see that there's someone who keeps calling to get his memories erased. I'm I'm sorry, we have to cut you off. You're doing it too much.
Yeah, it's exactly like that, where it's oh, well, we've already done it. You've hit your limit for this year. We can't do it anymore. Then it makes people reliant, and then, what if it turns into, oh, well, now it's just a problem where people abuse it like drugs. We're getting into the weeds. This doesn't matter. It's just a thought I had during the movie, specifically when he went in to get his memories erased.
And we really see that, for some people, it's going to be a much more, pain sort of thing where... Yeah, they just want to get rid of those painful memories, but sort of what the film delves into is whether or not, getting rid of that pain is worth also getting rid of, all the joy that those memories bring you as well. Which, especially for something removing the memories of, your pet and stuff, it's such a knee-jerk reaction to want to do that when it's you think I'd want to get rid of my memories of Mochi or Yuki? Hell no, man. Even after they die, I'll be really sad, but I'll want to remember them.
I guess in a roundabout way, to be completely fair, that's what our main character ended up realizing anyway. He realized that he didn't want to live without those memories, which is why he tried so desperately to avoid them. So I guess there is merit to what I just said at the end of the day. Don't just delete your relationships because it ended poorly or something. And I also like how during the last memory he had, it's well, I wish our goodbye could have been this instead of what it actually was. Which, we all have regrets. I think people who say they don't have regrets probably don't realize that they do, or, they're lying to themselves.
Targeted.
But, yeah. And, I just think that, these are just life lessons that need to happen. And our character realized that while he was having his memories deleted.
Yeah, it's really all about, it's better to have lived and loved to have never loved at all. Just, you know what? Maybe this film is a little cliche after all. I'm dropping it down to a C+.
Damn.
But yeah, I guess I have a couple more fun facts here for you guys. Did you know? Initially, they were wanting to get Nicolas Cage to play Jim Carrey's character.
I mean, that would have fit towards the beginning. But, there are some scenes in there that I think... I was saying at the beginning of this movie, this is a very interesting casting for Jim Carrey. It's not... He doesn't typically
it's
play
a much
this
more
kind of
reserved
character,
version
sad
of
and
him.
depressed. Yeah.
And also, Seth Rogen was also one of the options. I think he was supposed to play Elijah Wood's character, is something that they were thinking about.
That doesn't seem like
No, it definitely doesn't. I'm happy they got Elijah Wood in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more squirrely. Seth Rogen's a bit too large for that sort of role. But yeah, guys, do we have any other thoughts on this film?
I think not.
I don't think so.
Fantastic.
Nope.
Well, I'm sticking at my A. Or A+. Fuck, what did I give it for? A+. I'll give it an A+, I guess. If I gave an A before, it's gone.
I'm pretty sure you gave it an A+.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with my A-.
Same.
I think I'll go with the higher of my two and give it an A.
Okay. Wait, you had two?
I was in between an A and an A-.
Oh, okay.
And it landed an A.
Whoa.
The last movie we watched this week was requested by Tanner, that being the 2012 film The Hunger Games.
Dude, The Hunger Games is about a dystopian future where North America has been divided into 12 districts. Every year, those districts have to choose a boy and a girl to go fight in the Hunger Games. And this time, it's Katniss Everdeen's turn, because she volunteers instead of her sister, and then she kills everyone, but doesn't have to kill her new boyfriend, Peeta. The end. Fun fact. In this movie, Liam Hemsworth and Jennifer Lawrence are both natural blondes, but they had to dye their hair brown, whereas Josh Hutcherson is naturally brown-haired, but had to dye his hair blonde.
It is very funny switch ups there, for sure.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to put that into a bad fun fact one.
I think I agree with you. Can we retroactively render whether the there will be blood fact was fun or
Golly. I'll say it was, I don't even remember what the fuck you said. I'll say it's bad, though. No. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, that was a fun one. That was a genuinely good fun fact.
Okay, fantastic. I'm 2 for 3 this week, then.
There we go. It all works out.
Anyway, I'm sitting at a B- for Hunger
B-
Games.
is very fair. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm at a flat B.
Yeah. I kind of figured I'd almost be alone. I'm not too... I gave it an A+, though. I quite enjoyed this movie.
You really quite enjoyed it. Why'd you enjoy it so much, Dylan?
It's kind of just... It's in the whole field of, like, Divergent, Maze Runner shit, and I like those movies as well. I just like the idea of a divided society, and...
Just leave it at that.
The characterization in these is really cool. I like how... I mean, everybody's, like, determined very much by their character in these movies. And I think the visuals in this movie are well done. I think the only downside for me personally is probably the runtime, but I don't think it's super offensive. I think the plot and the universe it sets up, world it sets up is very cool. And I like how, like, there's just this dichotomy between how the rich people live and how the quote-unquote rebellious live, and just that intrigue that is set up where it's like, oh, there was a rebellion once, and now there's 12 districts, but, oh, don't worry, there's this rich district, and, oh, we make them compete to fight to the death. We don't do it because, we're cruel, we're doing it just to, like, inspire hope or something, or show that our government is just or whatever. And I just think it's a very interesting world setup, and I just really like how the world's set up. I don't think it really goes much further than that.
I think at base, this is like a totally average, like perfectly serviceable film, but it kind of gets nitpicked to death for me. There's so many little things here and there throughout the entire movie where I'm like, huh? What? Huh? That just kind of really bring it down for me. Like, one thing is like, Katniss witnessing Rue's death and then sending out, her little signal to the camera, and then that instantly causes a riot in the district Rue is from, I feel like we're kind of led to believe that rioting as a result of the games is not a thing that commonly happens, and so it happening in this instance seems strange, and
I think the really big thing there is the fact that Rue was so young is really the biggest thing that's causing them to be like, this is just fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, if I could interject here, I'll let you continue. I just want to me, the way I interpret that scene is, yes, Rue is very young, and Katniss looked out for her, because Katniss isn't there to kill people. She's there to survive, and then hopefully, not have to kill anybody, but she will kill in self-defense. And considering there's cameras on them at all times, and people know that Rue is just a child, and Katniss was just basically being a big sister to her, and showing, that she wanted to protect her, and keep her safe, and, like, care for her, because, they were, looking out for each other. And then just ultimately, in the end, Rue died with Katniss trying to protect her, and then Katniss she's kind of like because she was depicted as, like, most popular, like, rated one of the most popular. So obviously she's a fan favorite, and so she has a lot of just potential influence and sway on the crowd, which I think is supposed to be portrayed in this instant, where it's like, oh, she tried protecting our kid, she tried to make sure she came home, and now she can't. This is fucked up, and, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, as they say, this is the 74th one of these. You think they'd be used to the concept of what the Hunger Games are, you know?
I think it could go either way, honestly.
Huh?
I think... Go on.
I mean, if you have a thought, go ahead.
All I was gonna say is, it could just be like, okay, it's just another year in the Hunger Games. Or it could be like, I'm sick of this shit, look at this person trying to be different and care for one of our own, fuck the system, fuck this shit. It could. That's where I think it could just split. I think it could go either way.
I guess, yeah, that is totally possible. Then that kind of creates a separate issue where it's like setting up Katniss as this very singularly unique person in this world, which is a bit hard to believe.
I mean, hey, Tanner, people break out into riots when their sports team wins. I feel you might be just like given a bit too much leeway here.
Maybe. It was... Actually, I'm not gonna make that joke.
I have an insane amount of future sight on this movie, too, so that doesn't help.
What the fuck does that mean?
Don't worry about it.
I mean, you're taking into account the sequels.
Yeah.
Okay. There's, like, barely any world building in this movie, and I think it's to its detriment. Like, this world is not explained to us in any detail at all, and so it's kind of confusing. The use of environmental hazards in the games, I find strange.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty dumb, especially when they're like fucking launching fireballs at them and shit. It's like, this just doesn't seem like in good sportsmanship at all.
Especially when you take into account that one of the major things is people betting on different persons.
Well, the big...
Like, you think there'd be, they'd want to avoid the civil unrest they would cause if Katniss, the number one person people are betting on, were killed by random fireball initiated by the fucking referees.
I mean, to be fair, the districts don't know how this system works, and the only reason that Katniss is being targeted is because of how much of an influence she's having on the crowd, and they don't like her rebellious behavior. So the president guy wants to get her taken care of indirectly because they don't like how big of an influence she could turn out to be. It's bad for their system and bad for their government. They're trying to tilt the odds in their favor so it doesn't look like they're trying... If anything, they're not trying to kill her with the fireballs. They're trying to redirect her path into the group that she ends up running into.
But they like launch a fireball directly at her.
Yeah.
With the okay, admittedly, that's a little fumbled. They did that in hindsight with the expectation that she was going to dodge. Yeah, that she's going to dodge out of the way. That is a little scuffed, but the idea was that she was supposed to dodge it and just get out of that area. They made it clear in the dialogue in the room that they were trying to guide her towards the path.
Yeah, I know that, but I think it's kind of dumb that they also just directly try to kill her during that.
Yeah.
Also, like, the dogs at the end, like, I don't know, I guess that one dude just gets incredibly unlucky, you know?
Yeah, they get...
It's just really strange.
Another thing about those dogs, though, is that in the books, they say that the dogs have the eyes of each of the fallen contestants.
What does that mean?
They extracted their eyes and put them in the dogs. I
That's...
don't know why they did it.
Huh?
They have some...
So incredibly strange. I like how the dogs also just kind of look like pit bulls. Like, they don't even look that crazy.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of goofy nonsense in this movie.
I just think the technology is cool. That's my geek moment, I guess.
I have a note written down here under negatives that says panicked camera. I don't know what I meant by that.
Was it the hallucination part, maybe?
Maybe.
It's either that, or maybe the bees. I mean, I guess that's technically the same scene. It could also be the fireball scene, I suppose, or the dogs, maybe.
It's hard to say. Oh, no, okay, it's just because, like, in every fight scene, it's fucking doing the thing where the camera is all over the place and you can't tell what the hell is going on.
Ah.
Yeah, the fight choreography is fucking terrible, for the most part.
Yeah, it's truly atrocious. One of the random goofy thing. What the fuck is with the scoring system right before the games?
The popularity
like,
scoring?
Katniss is a fucking 10. What does that mean?
The idea behind that, from what I recall, is just that this is how skilled each of the combatants are.
Oh, or that.
For what purpose do we like assign a score to that? Do
It's just to like show the public, like, this is how fucking badass we think each of these people are, basically.
It's for sponsorships, I'd imagine. At the end of the day, yeah, because at the end of the day, that's all like these mentors are talking about. They're like, you need to get these people to like you because you need sponsors to stay alive. So like their whole thing was like, we need to make you look good, we need you to perform good, and we need you to behave good and, you know, put on a good show. Because at the end of the day, the Hunger Games is just like live entertainment for these rich people. It's not for like all the districts, but that's why the whole like love interest thing that they had inserted into this movie is so wild. The relationship isn't real. They're just putting on an act so they get more sympathy and sponsorship or whatever the hell for their survival or some shit.
Dylan did say something there that I want to touch on again, but first I want to say, okay, so real quick, I'm not going to constantly be harping on, like, well, this is what they did in the book instead, but one thing about, like, the scoring thing is that she got, like, an 11 or whatever, which was way higher, or not, like, way, but it was higher than, like, anyone else got, and some that they say in the book is that, like, well, you know, that's really cool, but also, they very well may have done that to make you a target for the other people in the ring, because they want you dead, which is fun, but...
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the...
I just wish there was some kind of, like, concrete thing you got based on the score. Like, it had some sort of, like, really obvious and practical reason for why you would care about having a higher score.
We're gonna let you start a little closer to the cornucopia based off your scores.
Yeah, yeah, whatever.
It's all for the show, man. It's all for the show.
One thing that Dylan said that I did appreciate that they did in this film was how well they sold just, like, how detached the people in the Capitol are from, like, the violence that they're forcing these people to inflict on each other. Like, when Katniss is initially, like, called up to fucking participate in the games, and fucking Effie, the person who's, you know, seeing them around or whatever, is like, oh boy, I bet that was your sister, wasn't it? And she's just like, yeah. And it's like, wow, that's crazy anyway. It's like, these people just have no bearing on how fucking awful this is for them.
Yeah.
Which they sold pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. That was my major positive, is I think all of the pre-game preparation stuff is actually very interesting thematically and whatnot.
One big complaint I do have for this film, and I want to float this guy by you guys here real quick. Is Jennifer Lawrence, like, the worst actress in this movie?
Her performance is definitely interesting.
It's not very good.
She's got some moments where, like, her just, like, total indifference, deadpan delivery kind of works. Like, I think it looked fine when she was, like, it looked like almost traumatized that she was picked or, you know, sacrificed herself for her sister. But yeah, a lot of the time it's just all
yeah,
right.
there are moments where she does a pretty good job, like when fucking Prim gets called up and she, like, panically says that she's gonna be the tribute for their district. I thought that was pretty good, but for the most part, yeah, just her deadpan delivery of everything, it's pretty boring for the most part.
What is Dude Man's name? Is it Josh Hutcherson? I think between them two,
I think Peta does a solid job.
I was gonna say, I guess even between them two, I agree with Jackson. I don't think Jennifer Lawrence did a terrible job. It's just she wasn't great like everybody else.
Like, even fucking Rue is acting circles around this woman.
And she was quiet for like 50% of her screen time.
Alright, Jackson, you have not said a whole lot about this film yet. What were your thoughts on it?
I just certainly have thoughts about most of these movies this week. I mean, it's fine. I think the concept's fun. I agree with Tanner. I think the world building leaves a lot to be desired. And there is a lot of just random nitpicks you can make about it throughout it. But I think it's a competently made film for the most part. I think the sets are well put together, even though, you know, it's all fucking CG. But I think it looks good, especially for, like, 2012. You know, it's a very serviceable movie for me. I don't really have any, like, major complaints.
What's wild to me is that I just recently watched the third film in this series, and the CG doesn't get any better throughout it.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't.
The only other positive I have, I think the movie has decent vibes. That's about it.
Well, fair enough. I'm gonna stick with my B- for this one.
Me too.
I'm sticking on my B.
I enjoyed this movie. I'm still gonna give it a A+. Is that what I gave it? A+?
Yeah.
A+.
And guess what, guys? Another B+ for the pile.
Checks out.
You know, this
Ain't
film
that something?
is on par with There Will Be Blood.
True.
I kind of disagree, but, you know.
Well, Dylan, if you disagree with that, then what film are you going to be picking for us this week? Is it going to be a B+ one?
All right. I don't know. I've never seen this movie. I think this was recommended to me by somebody else. My movie, the generator has spoken. It is Catch Me If You Can, a 2002 film.
That is a good movie. I'm excited for it. It's been a while since I saw it.
I'm sure movies I've been recommended are good movies.
I don't know about that. You got recommended fucking, what was it, The Silence or whatever? The Sadness? Was that it?
Yeah, the sadness.
No. That wasn't recommended. I randomly found that
okay.
on TikTok, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting.
Gotcha.
It was not. It was interesting for the wrong reasons.
Anywho, guys, live action or animated?
Fuck. I feel you like
Live
alluded
action.
to something this week that made me think, okay, that's gonna be like your pick for your good movie. The problem is I don't recall which one it was. So I'm gonna guess animated.
All right, looks like we're leaving it to a coin flip. Tanner chose last time. Nico, heads or tails?
Tails never fails.
It is tails. We're going with animated, Jackson.
Oh, okay. We're watching The Boy and the Heron.
Yay!
Oh, okay.
Oh, I wanted to watch this. I heard very good things about it.
I have been wanting to watch this for quite some time as well. I've had it on my Plex downloaded for many a time, just never got around to it. Tanner, didn't you watch this in theaters when it came out?
I did.
Do I have this
Check
on
that
my
out.
list? I need to check to see
Robert
if I have this on my
Pattinson
list.
is in this
I think
one.
I do. I don't.
Correct.
Shocking.
And of course, we also have our Patreon pick this week, which of course was from our lovely Patreon Lava Skin. Thank you for the request. This one was the 2009 film The
What a
Human
fucking
Centipede.
bastard.
Oh no.
Yay.
You know, I've heard that the world building in these films is pretty good, though.
Yikes. Yeah, we're building the world out of human bodies, I guess.
I am excited to finally see this one with my own eyes, to be honest.
I am not
Same.
excited to see this with any part of my body.
Yeah, I've known about this movie for a very long time, and I've wanted to see it for a while. I'm hoping it lives up to expectation.
It's been a morbid curiosity for me.
And if you too would like to request a film just like our lovely patron Lavaskin did, then head on over to guapish.com/guapish, or guapish.com/Patreon, or patreon.com/guapish, where for only $1 a month, you get access to our pre-guap little pre-show that we do, as well as early access to our videos. You get access to our Discord server, where you can chat with us about our terrible opinions on movies. Did you hear what he had to say this week? God awful. You also get to request movies and topics, and you even get 500 slime coins. Not only that, but you also get your name read out at the end of every single episode, just like I'm gonna do. Thank you very much to GH, Slayed by J, Blake, Netagant, I Love Lesbians, Tupperman Man, Inflated Labia, Tutbot, Luke Sadet, Hunter, and Jacob Edwards. Thank you very much, folks. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that bell, and we'll be seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.